All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for The Mandalorian, episode 3. We should be starting to say season 1, episode 3.
That's right, because it's already been greenlit for second season.
A long time ago. Okay, so our buddy Pedro Pascal's The Mandalorian. He has now seen a Force-sensitive little Yoda-esque,
little adorable, little merchandisable.
Yes.
Baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that could have just blown his mind and everything.
Just a bit.
Mr. I have spoken is like, tell me exactly what happened.
Yeah. Oh.
But his ship has blasted off and he's on his way back.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually went into light speed actually.
No, I was.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Team Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But. So now he's on his way back, but the thing is, this kid saved his life and everything, and will he turn it in? Will he not? Will he go to the Mandalorian clan first to get their advice? What?
The Mandalorian clan?
Well, right, because the
okay. So I found this. I found this. I want. So y'all. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars so much. I love the community surrounding Star Wars. I love rewatching little bits of Star Wars just to kind of go piece it apart and see what I can find and what have you. And this is something I found a little bit interesting, and it turns out the internet kind of agrees with me. Dr. Pershing's little right arm little cloak he's got on there has a symbol on it that looks rather Kaminoan. Yeah. What's that all about?
They're literally going to merchandise the baby in the show and make a bunch of them.
Yeah, at the very least, this is something that I think we were all kind of naturally worried about in terms of just, what the show was kind of pointed at, was that if a scientist was able to take a close look at one of Yoda's species, essentially, what kind of general things could they learn about biology that would be a bit terrifying? Like, one, living for 900 years. Like, what is in this species specifically that's not in others that allows it to live that long? But given that what is the plot point of episode 9 of Star Wars, and oh no, how did Palpatine survive? Directly after Return of the Jedi, we have Imperial scientists that are looking that have cloning backgrounds that are specifically looking at a member of Yoda's species, which Palpatine would know about in order to potentially find a way for him to live beyond all this stuff. So that's a thing. Yeah, we both have very different theories on what he's going to do about this, too.
Well, I think we're safe to say that they're not going to do anything with the midichlorians, because that would probably just piss off so many people. But
I mean, there is the living force versus the cosmic force.
Well, yes,
detailed in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and Dave Filoni is on this. So, he could find a way to bring balance.
Potentially, yeah. But given how they're doing this, we'll probably keep it fairly simple for the for the sake of the masses,
and also because the Mandalorian knows nothing about the Force.
Exactly. Yeah. So why go too into it, right?
But do you think he's actually going to bring him back to Werner Herzog's character for the reward?
Now, maybe this is me just being a bit too optimistic, but the kid has saved his life. He is an honorable person. He is going to take it back to the clan. He's going to figure out what they're going to do. But the thing is that he wants that Beskar. So I don't think that he's going to take the kid back to the Imperials. But I think the thing that is up in the air is, what is he going to do to try to get that Beskar?
Right, which he doesn't know actually where it is, though.
Right. So in order to get it, maybe he would have to actually, take the baby there for a bit, to get them to, deliver the goods.
And then he just shoots up everyone.
Right. Who knows? But... I don't know, but we'll have to see, because that should be happening this episode.
I do like the idea of him trying to find some way to redeem himself if he does bring it back, but I think he's definitely going to bring it back. I think he's 100% going to bring it back, because that Beskar is something that he cannot
definitely
not want to have back, because think about how much the clan means to him so far.
That
he gives everything basically to them, and they basically forge him the armor, with the armor smith Mandalorian.
Right.
But still, imagine what a container of Beskar would mean.
So he turns in the kid, he gets the Beskar,
forges a
full-on suit, and then goes back,
and hopes that he's still there. That could be kind of interesting, where it's not a thing of where it's so easy that he just gets the kid back. but that he's like, oh crap, I figured out what they're doing with the baby. Then he has to go on a chase.
One thing they could also do is they could say that we didn't actually have the Beskar, that was all we had, and they basically stiffed him. And then they try and take the kid from him by force.
Right.
And that's... Yeah.
Oh, shoot. And what they could have is there be a thing where it's like, oh, you saw 4 stormtroopers here, so coming back you don't feel so nervous or what have you. But then Werner Herzog's not there. Or maybe he is there, but then you see the Death Troopers with
who knows? Yeah.
From the
lots
previews
of things
and
they
stuff.
can do here.
And they just walk in and he kind of goes, wait, this is not a part of the deal. He's like, all right, now hand over the baby. You actually did good. You brought it back alive.
Oh boy.
Anyways, there's lots of things that could happen. And this is the 3rd episode, which is usually when stuff begins to go down. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Alright everyone, be sure to go check out the reaction portion of this video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion.
I'm probably going to have this look plastered on my face for the next, 15 minutes.
Y'all.
That was...
Y'all.
Oh, man.
They paid off everything that had been established thus far in the beginning of even, episode 1.
Man.
In that we knew he had the clan. We knew that they were going to be a part of the story here.
We've
essentially wrapped up this kind of locations arc for, the time being.
Yep.
And there were a lot of things that paid off. One here was that the guy, Grief Karga, was one that the Mandalorian held no ill will against.
Right.
So when he shot him, he intentionally, with his precision aiming through the fog, even that he specifically the smoke, steam, or what have you, that he you know, intentionally brought out there, kept him alive as hey, I'll come back. I'll come back one day, and I don't need that Beskar. So, this is a little bit of my mercy to you.
Sure.
And I absolutely respect that, because he basically was... He was basically outnumbered 30-1, and this whole thing somehow lasted 5 minutes against them.
Yep. I mean, 1, Beskar does help a lot, and 2, the cover, and he a lot of smart thinking and everything. But he would have been in serious trouble.
Right, and then when they started to rush him, he had the flamethrower to get them to back
them
off.
And I loved when he pulls out the disintegrator, and he just starts popping them, and they're just
yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No. Just to give you let's briefly go over the episode, but I want to give you people brief history on those kinds of weapons in Star Wars EU. But okay, we've got him giving the baby up. So I was right.
Yes.
We've got him going to rescue the baby. So you were right.
Right.
We had basically the best of both worlds. They had their cake and they ate it. But there were some consequences here.
Right.
One of the big ones here is that he's now he's now going to be a wanted man on a large scale, because it's not that they actually care about him.
They care about the kid.
They care about the kid.
Yeah.
So they set up the thing that every single one of them had a fob.
Yeah.
All of them.
Right.
So the IG-11 droid or what have you that came there, the only reason why it was able to get there
is because it was better.
Is because it was better than all of them.
Right.
Now, the fact that when, he goes and actually rescues the kid, they all have it turned back on, means that they know he did it too.
Yeah.
Because it's not just someone turned the fob on. It means someone saw the Mandalorian probably, doing all this, shooting up everyone.
Yeah, some of the stormtroopers or whatever.
Or Pershing.
Or Pershing, yeah. Yep.
All it takes is one.
Right.
And then they sound the alarm.
And he freaking walked in earlier with gleaming, I got my reward, you know.
Standing out like a Mercurian god of just Greek, I love how Mandalorian armor is kind of inspired by the kind of Roman centurion kind of look, with the slits specifically, and just having this I don't know.
Yeah, it's
just pre medieval armor style.
There's just something about it that's just
I mean, it does kind of look like knights a little bit, but
sure.
But
the way they did this episode is absolutely fantastic. And if you think about it, so you know how this show is kind of like a space western for Star Wars, right? Yeah. They also just in some ways gave us the same plot hook as another great space western, Firefly. He basically now has River Tam times 10 on his ship, right? And he's by himself still.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so he's gonna have to get some crewmates, and then upgrade his ship. And then find out
get the jetpack.
Who actually deserves to take care of this kid?
Right. Well,
find a family. Yeah. Because think about his arc. Mm-hmm. What kind of arc does this character go on? He's an orphan. Yeah. He is one with a clan, but they are not his true family. Well, they are his true family in that the bond they have is stronger than blood. Right. But he doesn't have a home, really. He doesn't have a place where...
Right. There was kind of this understanding that we will absolutely support you in this decision, but while you're toting around that homing beacon...
Nope, you cannot.
You cannot come back here.
No. But we
are for you. We got your back.
We salute you in some ways, which has it has multiple contexts. It's the Godspeed basically, but then it has the other connotation of don't die honorably. Or die honorably.
Like
hey, you're taking on the Empire. Yeah, F those guys. Right. I mean, you're probably gonna die, so I salute you.
It's the
gladiatorial style of salute, you know.
Right.
We who are about to die salute you.
Yeah, it's the
who are about to die. We salute you.
Well, and that's one of the things where I feel like the beefy Mandalorian with the repeater, him saluting him actually does kind of make sense, even though they haven't really characterized him and he was so antagonistic. Because one, he basically flipped off the Empire, right? You know, which he is all for. Two, he basically just painted the biggest target on his back and saying, I'm going to deal with this. Yeah. Which is he's like, I gotta say, that's pretty bad.
He's got balls.
You know? Yeah, he's got balls.
Beskar steel balls
we gotta make a Beskar cod piece for this guy. You know, because what he's got right now won't fit. So that
there were 35 guys over there. He turned left and 7 of them died instantly. You know?
so it's like cool, awesome, right? And then but just the whole idea and you know it's gonna happen, right? You know it's gonna happen. But when they all come flying up on their jetpacks and everything, shooting rockets and crap, oh man.
And they still looked ragtag. This is something that's really important here, is that it would have been too easy to make them colorful. One of the things that is canon, specifically about Mandalorians, is that they have identifying marks, usually, to denote what clan they're from. Yep. But in this case, in this specific group, their clan is one that they probably don't want the name to be necessarily broadcasted out there. Mm-hmm. Because then if you know with one, you could probably be like, grab that one, and then we can find the rest of them. Uh-huh. In this case, it's they each get a signet based on some legendary kill or some kind of work of achievement that they've done.
Oh man, he could have a signet with the kid.
I know. He's not going to.
No, he's not going to.
But if you think about what the signet represents, in addition to it being an achievement, like a milestone, it could also be allegiance. It could also be something where, we have the symbol of the Mandalorians, but we could also have it be something where it's... because that's actually a mythosaurus skull. Right. Yeah. You could have it be something where you think about the things that they introduced here. They brought up the New Republic.
Yeah, that's true.
They took great pained point to say this is Imperial stamped. Take it in the Purge. Basically, F those guys. Yeah, but it's look at the Imperial symbol. There's this... I don't know, there was this plot point, I think, of allegiances here that was kind of interesting, because he basically turns on the guild via going back to get the baby.
Gotcha.
His allegiance to something that is maybe on a more of a moral scale of things.
Yeah, I almost saw
he felt like he was being dishonorable to the Mandalorian code by foregoing an ally in that.
I feel like it's a combination of allegiance and identity.
Sure.
Because the idea is that when it came right down to it, he was not one of the guild. He was a Mandalorian.
Correct.
When it came right down to it, he was not the person helping the Imperials. He was a Mandalorian. And even above being with the clan, here's this kid. I'm gonna save this kid.
Yeah.
Right. And the signet seems to be some kind of thing, basically also maybe to help differentiate them amongst each other, like even though their armor is all different and stuff like that, and that's part of how they do it, you know. The idea of like, you did this thing, like it almost feels like like in Vikings when it's like Bjorn Ironside, you know, kind of a thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, oh man.
Okay,
this like
so yes, please.
Yeah.
There were a lot of little things that are very important to bring up. One is that Werner Herzog was not in the compound when they went to grab the kid, which means Werner Herzog is probably reporting the finding of the kid to higher ups. And then once the blasting all started, the compound apparently was a little bit bigger than we anticipated. So there might be an underground section where he was at that we just never found. And in that area, that's where we're going to be bringing in shoot, I forgot his name, but the guy from Breaking Bad. Yeah, he's going to be coming into things now to, you know, shape things up.
Oh boy.
Now here's a little bit of the problem here is that depending on how quickly he gets here,
the clan might still be here. Yeah. Even if they're not, and he takes a longer time to get here, the Imperials aren't fully gone. That is one of the things that should be a plot point here right now, is that there are Star Destroyers that existed, you know, at the end of Return of the Jedi that did not get destroyed or blown up. Yeah. Or just weren't present. You know, like
so they could literally go an Imperial remnant plot line here with a literal Star Destroyer out there somewhere that's like, okay, this is our main point of contact in the galaxy. And if they go with the First Order kind of stuff, where the Imperials did send everyone like beyond the Outer Rim, like a long ways away, then there would be very few Imperials left.
Which could be why the whole reporting the Imperials thing works, because if it's like because now that was also kind of a joke, right? Because it's like, really, out here, you know?
Right.
But the idea that, so maybe they won't be going for the whole Imperial Remnant thing where it's like, oh yeah, there's a Moff that's sticking in a star system with his Star Destroyer and just saying, I'm just gonna wait here for as long as I can, you know, and hold out my little bit of power.
I wasn't meaning that the Star Destroyer is one that's just waiting out there. I was meaning it's one that can be contacted.
Oh, gotcha.
And if the Empire's efforts need a Star Destroyer, they can do like, okay, quick, we're here, we made a bunch of noise, and we get out really quickly before the New Republic knows kind of, you know, what's going on. And if it's in the Outer Rim, like really far, the New Republic has its hands full in the core worlds, dealing with, I mean, it's 5 years after
so
Return of the Jedi. So there barely even is a New Republic at this point. Like, that's why the Mandalorian was joking. He's like, wait, you're serious? Like, they're barely even a thing. Like, and we're out here. Like, what are they going to do? I love how that whole thing is a plot point, basically saying, we acknowledge that they exist, but we're in the Outer Rim. That's where the story is. Don't worry, we're not going to make this into a whole good guys, bad guys kind of storyline.
It's the idea that, like, this is a Western, and the law exists, but it ain't here. So,
which, okay. So he ended up going all Judge Dredd. He ended up, going and just destroying all the stormtroopers. And he actually acted pretty stealthily, which I appreciate. He was thinking of his own survival, because there was a slight odds that they actually shoot, in between the chinks of his armor and do damage. But when he got to Pershing, he didn't kill him. He didn't kill Pershing. He just grabbed the baby and left. Now, what I think is very important to bring up is that is now, again, another instance of where the Mandalorian showed that he is not a murderer. He is not a ruthless killer of those that he deems to be,
Right. When there's people that specifically go up against him and get in his way, he's not afraid to kill people.
No, he will totally kill them.
He will totally kill them. But the thing is that when he doesn't need to, if he sees them as not being a problem, like if he doesn't see it as being a problem leaving them alive, then he's fine leaving them alive.
Yeah, which is interesting because Pershing might have been the one that just tipped him off to everyone for his own safety. Like, because Pershing was being threatened by Werner Herzog that if you don't basically do all this, properly here, then the way he wants, then he can't guarantee his safety.
Yeah.
So that means Pershing was very much under duress in this whole situation here.
Mm-hmm.
But he apparently is someone tied to some Kaminoan, which, by the way, if you don't know what the Kaminoans were, they were the people that made the clones in the prequels.
Yep.
So, if he was someone that at the very least maybe worked with them, like maybe the Empire towards the latter half of its time realized, okay, we need to send some of our own people to work with them to understand that process. Makes a lot of sense. By the way, again, why is Palpatine back? I don't think they're going to go weird clone Palpatine kind of thing, but I'll just tell you that even if it's not
Essence transfer.
It could be essence transfer.
Essence transfer.
Which y'all, all you'd need then is just to say that he had basically bodies prepared that were suitable for him.
Yeah. And this is why you need a head on a spike, because if you throw him into a long tunnel...
who knows what happens when in this canon, essentially, when a Sith that it's powerful has its body destroyed, but is able to survive beyond a body with its own spirit or ghost.
Now, granted, they did double tap by destroying the Death Star, but
who knows what happened in between the time when he fell and when the Death Star was destroyed.
Well, and the whole idea of, like, Force spirits basically being able to live on in associated things. So, Yep. Yeah.
So who knows? But I will say that I think it is very suspect that they are dealing with cloning stuff that's hinted at. Now, there's no confirmation that they were doing anything with cloning. The only thing that they said was he said, extract the necessary materials.
Right.
Which I'm guessing is, okay, do a bio,
get enough sampling, whatever this stuff.
Which is, I would say... Yeah, that's bare minimum probably what they'd want.
Right, and they were probably wanting to just basically put the kid through a food processor, right? And you know, and the Werner
so they'd
Herzog,
have everything.
Right, exactly. And he did, or Pershing didn't want to.
Right. So then he was like, okay, you better extract at least the necessary bits right now.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to guarantee your safety. I like that. So now, regardless of whether or not he did it, which he actually could have, we don't know if they already got enough.
Right, and even if the plot of this one doesn't, like, the plot points of this one and the MacGuffins don't become MacGuffins in the movies,
in future stuff,
it's still the idea of its thematic similarities, right?
Yeah,
it's parallels in what the focus is, right? So, yeah,
because it could be something where they are now going to study what made Yoda able to live 900 years old. You reach, but this good you're not,
right? Yeah, if you think about it, like, no, they absolutely would not do this. But if the Imperials had gotten their hands on that kid, like Palpatine's ghost was a thing, they could just ship off the baby and be like, all right, cool, Palpatine, this will suit you for another 800 years, like. But but this
freaky.
But the amount of fan service that they were able to have in this show, in this episode, and have it work, it did my heart so much good. Even the whole thing of him torching the stormtrooper and having the stormtrooper actually scream, because that's one of the problems. Even and they made it as Disney ungraphic as possible. It was just black soot on his armor. When the guy fell over. But the idea that a flamethrower should be as terrifying as a flamethrower actually is.
Yeah, because in that focused area, you're dealing with thousands of degrees of Fahrenheit.
It's easy to just consider it to be like, oh, this is an energy weapon that does no discernible actual damage.
It just pushes people away.
Right. Right. Exactly. It does that stuff. No. Like, no. You start to melt. Like, that's not pleasant.
So we're appreciating that they somehow found a way around the TV PG rating to make this show somewhat violent because this is a Mandalorian and his weapons are pretty pretty definitively violent.
And it goes along with escalating the dichotomy between the fact that he is caring for this kid and he is a walking death machine.
That is true.
Right?
That is true.
He torches people, he disintegrates them, like, he does all of this stuff and more. right?
And this baby is just watching them.
Oh,
whoa, the dark side, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But,
we've got the Mandalorian clan now helping him here. We got to hear a little bit more of the details surrounding their clan and their current, modus operandi.
Right.
And one of them is to remain invisible and specifically only surface with one of them at a time.
Yeah.
So when Grief was like, hey, we'll only see a Mandalorian like every once in a while. It's so much harder. Oh no, that was Werner Herzog was saying it's so much harder to find a Mandalorian than it is to find the Beskar. I kind of like that as a, Chekhov's Beskar.
Wait, was that what it was? I thought it was the reverse.
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
So what I think he's saying is that, I'm glad I get to give this back to a Mandalorian, trying to, kiss up to him some more.
Right. Uh-huh.
But what I think he's also saying is that,
your people are rare, don't do something that'll get you killed, kind of a thing.
Yes.
You're an endangered species.
And also, there's a lot of this stuff out there,
Right. Yeah, because the Empire fell, now there's this influx of Beskar out there because they're,
because they reclaimed it probably from the Jedi.
Right, they're equivalent Nazi gold storehouses, basically. Yep. And now, but where are the Mandalorians? So
Right. Yeah. So, but that's an exciting thing to think about is that the show didn't just give us all the Beskar armor stuff right now.
Right.
There could be still a lot more out there.
Yep.
That we'll find over the course of time. And even though he is pretty much decked out already,
he needs the jetpack.
He needs the jetpack. He needs the stuff for his calves, his calves and his quads.
It looked like they had that. Like at least on the shin part, it looked like there was that.
Okay.
But the thing is, he could always make it more mechanized. Like now, maybe that's something they don't want to do for the purposes of practicality with set design and
set design and also
and
just
like
costume movement. It would have to be probably CG at that point.
Right, but like you could get to the point like the other Mandalorian that had a much bulkier armor.
Yeah, but something tells me that suit was probably hell to wear. And if our main character is going to be doing a lot of running, moving, or anything like that.
Yep, they're probably going to keep it like
just wearing that helmet is probably tough enough now,
Yep. And this is great.
Oh, this is fantastic.
This is absolutely fantastic.
This is so good.
And in a lot of ways, this also kind of makes it easier for Disney because they don't need to worry about the practicality of basically wrecking his armor every other episode. Like,
we can maybe show some slight score markings, of blasters hitting it or what have you.
Right.
And that's gonna do what? Like maybe scuff it and make it a little bit black or silver.
It's basically like when a car gets scratched and it's not actually scratched, it just messed up the paint so it looks bad. But then if you wipe it off enough, it all goes away. That's probably as bad as it's gonna get. Yep.
Unless he gets hit with some heavy duty stuff, which they'll probably have happen at some point in the future. Now, here's the thing that's really cool. We're leaving this planet. Where are we going?
Who knows?
Yeah. Wherever he wants to go. Right. This is the part about Star Wars that is the best part about Star Wars.
Yep.
Now, obviously, there's the mythos, the characters, the Force, all these cool sounds and creatures and what have you.
Yep.
But there is nothing more exciting for me personally than having some people that love to tell the Star Wars stories.
Yep.
And just take me to a new planet.
Yeah.
I don't want to know where we're going. I want to have my eyes wide, just going like, what? Whoa,
and
what's all
deep.
this?
And go deep is the thing.
I mean, even if they don't go deep, I think they don't have to go deep. Just having visuals out there for me to just sponge up and just be like, ooh, what's the question? There's questions all around here, and I get to ask them.
You have a ship, and the galaxy is your oyster.
Yep.
Where do you go? Because
I think
it's big, it's limitless,
I think he immediately goes to a place actually where he is maybe a little bit of an initial thing there. I'd say was a little bit risky, but I think what he initially should do, and this is maybe a little bit of a crazy thing there because I don't know how the fobs work exactly, because they should be able to find the baby basically no matter what, given that these fobs have even the slightest bit of tracking on. Like, I don't know how that works.
Right, like with when you're on a different planet and things like that. Like maybe it's something where it's like, okay, it's good for on a planet, but then like it's more like if he's ever spotted, then it's like, oh hey,
then it's really close.
Right.
But again, it still feels a little bit crazy that they would somehow have this little device that doesn't know exactly what he is, you know, and would somehow be able to track him, is I would think about where is a safe house that I can put him where I can just drop him off for a little bit. Because I'm going to go do some jobs that will be there for upgrading my ship. That's my number one goal if I was the Mandalorian here would be like, my ship kind of
sucks.
Blows.
Yeah.
I'm going to...
I've got this kick-ass armor, but that doesn't help me when I'm in space.
One TIE fighter just ends my whole existence on a random, you know, D20, you know?
Uh-huh. Yep.
That just feels so bad, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think if anything, he would probably go to another criminal underworld type planet, which, holy crap, I know it would probably take a lot of CG, but if they did Nar Shaddaa, that would be I would freaking have the biggest like nut of Star Wars ever.
So Nar Shaddaa is like Tatooine, the whole wretched hive of scum and villainy, right?
Tatooine is nothing.
Basically, Nar Shaddaa is like
Space Vegas. Yeah,
right. This is Space Vegas,
like bad Space Vegas,
bad Space Vegas, and it's great.
It's amazing.
It's fantastic. It's one of the best locations in the EU, just for being fun.
It is technically canon, though. It is technically canon.
Oh, right, because Clone Wars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But actually,
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Dave Filoni.
But it would be an expensive place to have there, though, because there's a lot of things. It basically is just dirty, grimy Coruscant look with a lot more huts because it is a moon of Nal Hutta.
Right.
And Nal Hutta is the Hutt's home planet.
Right.
And I would say maybe, if anything, that would be a cool place for the Mandalorian to make allies. Is that you
it's
go
also
to
where all the bounty hunters would congregate. Though.
Oh, you're right.
But
if he's not, but that's the thing. If he goes and drops the kid off at a safe house, he can go to Nar Shaddaa just fine.
Well, yes,
because there's nothing on him.
Right,
nothing of it has to do with him.
What he really needs now is not actually to upgrade his ship. That comes second. What he really needs right now is a crew that he can trust. Because trying to do this as a one-man show, that causes problems.
But those people would just probably turn on him for the bounty.
Maybe.
Because he doesn't know anyone.
That's true.
So it's really up in the air. I think he needs to find a safe house, upgrade his ship, and then ingratiate himself with some criminal, underworld bosses.
Yeah.
Build up a reputation with them because he's alone. And through those criminal underworld bosses, he will maybe start building his own bounty hunter team. So they'll do bigger and bigger jobs together over the course of time.
Yeah.
And they'll always be doing little things to avoid the Empire. And maybe he'll have this legend of his stash that he's got somewhere that he visits every once in a while to add to. And they don't know what's there. But it's him basically just checking up on the kid.
What he really needs is he needs a Beskar backpack. It just closes and it's secure. It's just on his back and he's just going around.
And every once in a while you see him at a little restaurant with baby food and he's trying to feed the thing. And it's just and it's no, I don't want it.
As soon
and he's
as
fine, and he grabs one of those frog things and he just chops it in half and it's oh my god, that's gross. And he just feeds it whole to the baby.
Throws it, he just puts it into the thing with it and closes the door.
And you just see this
Yeah.
It's
anytime bounty hunters come up, he's just hold on just a sec, closes it. Yeah. Oh man.
What seems to be the problem? By the way, so there were a lot of things in this episode where they kind of showed off his weaponry and his capabilities like that, but they also made a new type of weapon that felt very Iron Man style there.
Yep.
That is something I've never heard of in Star Wars before.
Yep.
So, all right, cool new technology. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But the disruptor rifle being something that genuinely scared everyone. I just wanted to bring this up because that during the time of the Empire was an illegal weapon.
And to say illegal is an
understatement.
Because the idea, think about it from the Empire's perspective.
Right.
You can just make anyone disappear like they never existed. We're the ones that are supposed to do that. And you could do that to us.
Right.
Like what happens when a Moff suddenly just doesn't show up one day?
Well, of course. But the main thing is it's a high power type of weapon that is so strong that they don't want to hear anything about people using that. Now, obviously, people would use them, but the thing is that it's so crazy that it actually got mentioned in the canon bit of The Empire Strikes Back, where he's all There will be a significant reward to whoever finds the Millennium Falcon.
But I want them alive.
You're able to use whatever means necessary to bring them, but I want them alive. He turns to Boba Fett and he goes, no disintegrations. This is what he was talking about. There's specific weapons, disruptor-type weapons, disruptor rifles that were absolutely feared by everyone. And it's one of those things where if you're in the criminal underworld, yeah, you know they're illegal, but it's not that they're illegal because you don't care about legality. It's that they're expensive.
They are ridiculously expensive. And like Beskar, they put a target on your back. They do. Because since they're so expensive, someone sees you walking around with one of those,
they try to steal it.
Yeah. You know, and oh yeah, they managed to get it from you or kill you or whatever. Oh, that's fine. Pfft, disintegrate it. No one knew that you existed, you know, whatever, and you just disappear with your handy shandy new gun, right? And maybe you sell it and make a fortune off of it, right?
Right.
You know,
so
whatever.
Once he starts firing this,
like I love that they didn't even know he had it. They're
they didn't.
Oh shit. No.
I think it partly is because his rifle is so customized that it's actually not a disruptor rifle.
Right. He just has the disruptor rounds that he loads into it.
Right, and it's somehow actually able to fire those because part of the firing mechanism or what have you has something to do with that. Yeah. And that's kind of a cool, like, oh, cool, his gun is kind of a, you know, it's a little bit of a plot solver thing where it has a little bit of everything in it.
But then it also introduces this limiting factor where he couldn't, like, why doesn't he use that all the time kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So apparently he was very angry with the Jawas.
Oh yes. Oh yes. They were touching his ship. Yeah. You don't touch my ship.
Touch his ship. Yeah.
yeah. That's true. So that's basically the gist of what I have for this episode. It's exciting to think about how the galaxy being this place that he can go and explore, but still he's probably going to stay in the Outer Rim, which means the bounty hunters are still going to be going after him, which means he needs to find a safe place for the kid to hide. Oh, he could drop it off with Nick Nolte's character. Oh wait, no, he probably wouldn't appreciate that.
No, he'd be like, "Wait, so you just like made my home peaceful again, and now you're suggesting that you turn my home specifically?"
I have spoken.
Yeah, I have spoken.
Well, actually, hold on. This is a great point here. The only reason why they knew that he was there was they gave him the last known location.
Right.
So right now, the last known location is the planet with the clan and everyone else was on. And he left. Which means he could go back there, and it would be the last place they would look.
Right. And he's like, hey, I don't want to impose, but could you like really come with me? I could really use the help because, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. It doesn't make sense for him to do that because he wants to respect the wishes that he would want this planet to be peaceful, and he's not going to serve anyone.
But I would just like to point out that for any of you that have played Knights of the Old Republic 2, we now officially have grounds for an HK-50 chase because there's the IG droids, which are very badass, and there's the fact that now he has a target on his back. And the thing is that even if they don't, like, there's the last known location, which does make sense for those things. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell what planet it's on or whatever, right?
Right.
Signal doesn't go that far. But you see a Mandalorian walking around in full Beskar gum. There aren't many of those in the galaxy. There aren't many of those at all.
Now, it depends on how fast rumors spread.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, it's just, you know, make a tweet. You know, now, granted, Star Wars is different and all that stuff and Holonet, whatever, all that, whatnot.
Yeah, but again, that's not how this works.
But the thing is that since it's not like this planet is the only planet with bounty hunters, right? Every bounty hunter anywhere, if they ever, you know, get that. Now, they won't necessarily all have the fobs, but...
Right, we just don't know how connected this planet is to other kind of criminal enterprises and what have you.
But the droids, because of how, like, you know, the idea that the droids would all be basically being used by the same person probably, or not necessarily, manufacturer, right? They don't have to because they could be sold to different people and whatnot.
But I also think they were rather autonomous because of how much decision-making capacity the IG-11 had when it was doing its job.
Yes.
So I would say there wasn't any surveillance on the Mandalorian being like, you're the one that killed me. Now,
no, right. No, I'm not talking about that. But the idea that if there's other IG bounty hunters out there,
there definitely are.
There definitely are, right?
Yeah.
Then he can have a situation where he's going and doing something, and the regular riffraff bounty hunters, whatever. Yeah, he can deal with those. All right, you know.
But say 3 IG droids show up.
But 3 IG droids show up.
Yeah, that's a little problem.
That's a bit of a problem.
It is. It is. But yeah, that's episode 3. We got about the same length of the previous episodes. We got Mandalorians. We've got him storming the Imperial compound. We got him getting the Beskar and the armor. So we got everything to work out. And now this is the point where the party basically decided to do something that was a little bit against the DM's plot rails.
Yep.
So in that respect,
or right along with the DM's plot rails.
We'll see. But I think what this is that this is just the good way to showcase in the future how dangerous the galaxy can be.
Yes.
Because what I would say is the best thing to do next is to start trickling in a bunch of interesting side characters.
Sure.
Very slowly, but very surely.
Mm-hmm.
Having them just kind of pop into things and have it be not about necessarily them necessarily being allies or being people that are hunting him, but just about people he's going to interact with and do jobs so that he can get fuel.
Yeah.
Like he's still got to keep doing his bounty hunting gig. Otherwise, he can't live.
Yeah. Basically, the other I have spokens, that are out there.
Interesting NPCs.
Yeah. Because this was essentially the prologue of the show.
Right.
And now
this is the premise.
Now, the show is set, right, and we have a direction for everything. We have a point of conflict that is limitless in what you can do with it. Right. It is the gift that keeps on giving. This well will never run dry. Like you can just keep on having people show up because he's probably one of the most wanted men in the galaxy right now.
Okay. Again, remember, the kid is the wanted thing. Yeah.
Right.
He will become the most wanted man definitely in the galaxy.
Yep. Oh boy.
So there we go, y'all.
Yeah.
That's episode 3. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about the show, about Star Wars, and all that good stuff that's being made canon. And yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But you can also talk with Jacob about the book that he wrote.
That's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel very much inspired by The Mandalorian.
Yes.
It's called Battle Lines. It's available on Amazon. It's fantastic. It's available in both ebook and hardcover. Links in the description, so go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.